Okay, so this is the Sifra Ditzniuta, and where we stopped the last time was, let me see, let me turn the page. Where we stopped the last time was on number Lamed Daled. Now, let me find where is Lamed Daled. Lamed Daled is in the Yaf Shah. Let's read the Yaf Shah. The Yaf Shah it got more interesting. So he writes like this. He says, B'Yaf Shah bir kan lefi darko, Dairi kan besod Elias zer v'nukva, L'mayim nokvein ba'aba v'ima kadei laham shechatipa al yoyna, in order to be able to bring down and extend down this upper tipa. So that's, you need this yichud. The Ire kan besod Elias zer and nukva l'mayim nokvein. So they both go up, and as a result of that, they get into it. They cause a yichud with Abba v'ima. L'zecha bebir kan besod l'shonda dechsev v'yar elokem es or Ki Tov. Dechsev amrod tzadik Ki Tov. So we have this idea of Ki Tov here. So what do we want to say? Mishmar for Azel, as he goes on, he explains. How could it be that as Zer Anpin is moving up, the nukva, the Zer Anpin, the nukva, the Mayim nukvin, Naasa called his order to Hazeh, they call a tremendous, cause of arousal up above, because their requests or the desires are coming to Abba Ve'ima for answers. So he says, what is this? What's this phrase? Ve'ima uma lahem im mochus timor the Eric Anpin of Malzal Elyon. So that apparently is in the mix. V'noida this. Shayisod nikra tov. Of Eliyasach of Zer v'nuk, and when they make a yil in Mayim nukvin, ma'al and they machim v'yisod the Eric Anpin. Now remember, the Eric Anpin is down at the bottom, also in the area of their yisodos. Shuhu nishmasam, which is really their penimius, which is their neshama, Moshe Kosev Rabbeinu Zal be'etz Chaim, and this is our marker here on number Lamed Daled. Let's read through it, then we'll go to Lamed Daled. V'Elias Yisod the Eric Anpin, hu hagorim his orders el mochus dimor the Eric Anpin. So he knows there's an aspect of Eric Anpin that's also making an aliyah that is in Mayim Nukvin, also back up to the place of the Muchs Dimor from which it probably came from. V'zecha kavanas apasav v'yar elokem. Hashem shosh hu Muchs Dimor. Who is this elokem? It's Muchs Dimor, the Eric Anpin, ka'amor esa, or because it says like this, the light. Shehi tipas hanim shachas memazlach kadisha hanikras or. So this is the shefa that comes down from this mazla kadisha, which is called light. Ayidecha b'ki tov, and it does this because it's good. This phrase Ki Tov, Shuha Yisod Shalo, which is his Yisod, because it goes up to there. Yisod Nikra Tov, and he wants to bring a raya that the Yisod is called Toshin Emma Amra Tzadik Ki Tov. Okay, so let's see. It's still recording, so I think I don't know what goes on here with this sometimes. Number Lamed Daled. He says, number Rambam, Rei be'etz Chaim, he says, Sham, V'zal L'shono, B'dilog. L'chein, Kedei l'hiz daveg im ima, V'l'seis v'tipis amochim, the godless, L'tzorach zer anpin, for the purpose of bringing into godless. Sarach shetaskel shetachila, still working with these glasses here, let's see, try to read it. Anpin, Sarach shetachila, Yikabel gam ken hu so Hosafas mochim mamochi law the Eric Anpin. So in order for this to take place, you need that too. You need the sot Hosafas mochim that comes from the mochas dimah of Eric Anpin. L'chein sark shet techida to orach bezer azer v'nuk man la'abba v'ima. So this is the way it starts. First, they have to bring up man from Abba v'im, from shetekida azer v'nuk. Have to come up in my nukvin. V'az yuchul abba the kabel mamocha de Eric Anpin atzmo, and this allows this is statement that has statement. So he says, as a result of the Mayim Nukvin coming from the Zocher V'Nok, that allows Abba and Ima to receive Shefa from Erik Anpin. Vaz Yuchel L'Meichav L'Ima Koach HaMochim the Holedis the Holeda L'Seis Achakap Gam came to Zer V'Nuk. So this is his orderus that goes all the way up to Erik Anpin, and that Shefa that comes down to Abba V'Ima gives them the strength to be able to really bring the Shefa to Zer Zocher V'Nuk. V'nevayr eich aliyas Zer V'Nuk b'sod man ma'orach b'tofes efes mucha ba'Abba V'Ima l'seis achar kach el Zer V'Nuk. So he says, how does this happen? How is it that the aliyah of Mayim Nukvin ultimately results in Shefa coming to Abba V'Ima and then to Zocher V'Nuk? V'yini commotion is boyer la'elki be'iver rishon nizdavek Erik Anpin hayisod shebo minei ubei. Let's just look. He says in the first region that this comes from Erik Anpin all by himself. Besoch beis hayisodis the Abba V'Ima. So there's a yichud that takes place in Erik Anpin, who's panimi to Abba V'Ima, and as a result of that, it's becomes inside of the Yisodis of Abba V'Ima. V'hida achakach hayisod v'chatara de Erik Anpin na'aser v'chanishama l'zer Anpin b'mei ha'ivor. So during this period of time, this causes. Let me read the words again. V'hine achakach. This is after the yichud inside of Abba V'Ima and their Yisodos of Zer Anpin, of his Yisod minei ubei. So they said, Yisod v'chataras the Erik Anpin, so the Na'asech and the Shamba the Zer Anpin b'mei ha'ivor, this becomes then the Panemius of Zer Anpin in the time of this Ivor. Ba'aliyah Zer V'Nuk says, as we're having Mayim Nukvin and Zocher V'Nuk are going upwards, Ba'abba V'Ima, Oder im Machem Gam Kain, okay, Hayisod the Erik Anpin, Shebesochem ad Abba V'Ima, that's inside of them, and it goes all the way up to Abba V'Ima. V'heim order the Rebesod Mochi Ilo the Erik Anpin, and as a result of this, it arouses the Mochus Timah the Erik Anpin. Kanoida ki mibisari chazol loa. What does that mean? Ki kashimis order the morach a yisod sheba'adach, when the yisod of a man, we can see from ourselves, is aroused, then it also revolves the saying mashma that the seed that comes from a human being is coming from the head. So therefore this upper moach, the mochsima of Erik Anpin, misora al yedech yisod the Erik Anpin canal, it becomes aroused, that we said, because of the yisod as a yichud minei ubei. Amnam ein koach mochen ilo atzma. It says ein, right? Koach imo atzma beyored ad Abba V'Ima. He says the the koach itself doesn't come to Abba V'Ima, because it's tremendously powerful. So he says, well, wait a minute, it doesn't go directly from Erik Anpin into Abba V'Ima, but instead it goes through the beard. He said, Mazel the Ches and Mazel the Yud Gimel. So there's a mazel. Mazel is like a nozzle. So the mazel, which is a nozzle or flowing, and it flows into them. V'heim Zocher v'Nekeva, and they says so one that is the Ches is male, and the Yud Gimel is female. Ches shuhu Zocher nishbach b'koach ba'Abba. Then this flows through the beard, the koach into Abba. And Yud Gimel, and from the 13th midah, Shuhu Nekeva, Misham Nishba Koach Be'ima, so that's the source of the koach that comes from the Mochas Timah into Abba V'Ima. V'lechein zeh ha'muach ha'elyon, so therefore this upper muach, mashpecha b'chayidecha b'das, is mashpia al yidecha das shabo. It's able to pour out through this das. Okay, we had just lost that there. Let's come back. Okay. We're on the word v'lechein. Zeh ha'muach ha'elyon, that's the muach stima. Mashpia al yidecha b'das, it's able to stream down through das, the das shabo, shuhu muach ches el mazel yud gimel, which is he's saying here, and I really lose track of this, what das is, but the das, apparently, of the beard, is shabo, shuhu mazel ches. It causes this to flow from the mazel ches and the mazel yud gimel. That's the idea. Then after that, Abba ve'ima now have this tipa. They came from the eighth into the which is Abba into Ima. He says through Das. So now they bring down from there the mochin to their children, who is Arvanuk. So there we see this arousal of this mazel, behis lavush Abba ve'ima, that's clothed inside of Abba ve'ima, or they like that. Abba ve'ima mochin lebenehim, and then as a result of that process that we're talking about, they're able to give over the mochin to Abba ve'ima mochin lebenehim, from there to their children. And this happens. So he's saying like this. He's saying like Eric Anpin runs all the way through all reality, and he has a Yisod too, which is down at the bottom where Zocher v'Nuk are located. Zocher v'Amnam kol Zocher be'enu rak b'koch Yisordus Yisod Tachton de Eric Anpin, when that lower Yisod of Eric Anpin is aroused. A mislav shechab of Zer Anpin, which ultimately will be mislavish inside of Zer Anpin. Now, okay, so we have a vision, a picture there of the flow of light that comes as a result of Mayim Nukvin. Let's look at number Lamed Hey, that was part of that also. He says, Inyan Zechar Bevura B'Yafashah, so this is explained in the Yafashah Le'el V'Zel L'Shono. Anaktim od Mashakasav Rabbeinu Arizal, he says, Be'etz Chaim, he says, Maduman. He says what? He says Shahatipa Hakadusha Azos, that this tipa, this holy tipa, Kashanem Shechas Mamaz the Rabilo Kadisha Tikun Aches, when it flows from the Tikun Aches, he Shem Av. What is that? That's the name Yudke Vavke in Milu Yudin. V'nikra or, and it's called light, Yu'un Sham. So these are different kinds of ideas. Adkan Mamuva V'lecha B'Simen Lamadalot. Okay, so let's see how we're doing time-wise here. Okay, so we'll do just a little bit more, and let's look at the Bezoar Chai. See if I can understand the Zohar Chai. So he says, get like that, okay. Bezoar Chai, Bir Kan Al Pi Divira Pri Etz Chaim, he says like that, Bezel Deshono, Betok Devara, Vizera Vedaki, Hazivuk HaElyon, Hu Sod Aleph. Yud Melomala Besod Mayim Dechurim. So you have a Yud on the top. The Yud at the top represents the Mayim Dechurim. That's the flow coming down. Yud Lamata B'Yayim Nukvin. So then you have another one, which is the Mayim Nukvin, which is coming up. Vav Be'emsa, and then there's a Vav in between them. So that we're saying this is like the letter Aleph. So Be'emsa, Besod Das Elyon, and Bezaveg Chochma Be'ina, which is the secret of the upper Das, which is Bezaveg, between Abba ve'ima, Adkan. Yu'un Sham ba'orech, so if you look at that, you get into more detail. Valpi zecher bebir b'zohar chai, so the Zohar Chai says like this, B'dilug, he said, V'yesh zivug pnimi, gam ba'abba ve'ima b'sod os aleph, so Abba ve'ima also have this yichud in this secret of the letter aleph, shu al yedech neshamas yisrael, and how does this happen? The neshamas of the Jewish people, makdishim, Shemo HaGodol, that are able to make a kiddush of the name. Barosh is a Yud B'sof so Yud Barosh, Yud Besof, so there's two Yud in there, and they make an Aleph. Ubina, she Oshedes Mayim Nukvin, the Haino, so I looked at this word Oshedes, and it said cascades, but I guess it means streams. Mayim Nukvin, the Haino a Ratzo Bedegesh, I'm not sure what this means, it's a dot inside a letter. Ratzo, I don't know how Degesh goes with this, or I don't know how to put it together. Al Yedei Neshamas Tzadikim. So it has this point in it because it's the neshama, which a degesh, I think, is the concept of a panemius. I'm just guessing. Umazivig os aleph medaber bekan hazoer. So when we're talking about the os aleph, it really, he's saying it represents a yichud, a zoer, or so he says it's the or of the yud barosh v'or yud besof. So he said Ratza v'shuv. So when we're trying to understand Ratza v'shuv, v'yar elokem or kadmoa, so the original light that was there, which I guess is the yud in the top. So he said Trin yudim or yasher or choser. So there actually are two yudin, not one. Amra tzadik Ki Tov. So it says the tzadik, which is yisod, is tov, is good. V'kol tov hu besod or kadmoa. So when it says tov, it means the original light. I guess he means to say the light that's up above the line of the Aleph. So Kadmo, the Yudin, Shekula Tov, that all of these two Yudin, everything comes out good. So he has this phrase, Aleph Mem Reish Rosh Tevos, and it's the, let me see if I can put it together, or Mayim Rakia. So this is like the flow downwards. So he says, "V'kol Masha Moshe Tzadik," which is the Yisod, Amra or Mayim Rakia. So it says these three. Shal Tzadik Kol Ki Tov. So everything, I guess he means to touch on the concept of or Mayim and Rakia to some extent in regards to this letter Aleph, but I don't see the connection. Ki Tov. Besod Arba Yudin, which is a secret of 4 Yudin. Yud, K, Vav, K, so which is the Milui of Av, there are 4 Yud in there. Kolil, Kol, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, and Chaya. So each one of them goes to one of the Oros, which is the Nefesh, Ruach, Chaya, and Neshama, the Haino, Amar. So these is some of the kinds of which Or, Mayim, Rakia. Shetachtov, which is below it. Now, it's still not explaining this exactly typed together. So I didn't think it was really particularly easy because it's not quite moving from the Aleph over to these 4 Yudin. We had 2 Yudin before, now we have 4. So I'm not sure what Pshat is. Kolo kol nefesh ruach neshama, chaya dehainu amar. That's phrase amar, which or mayim rakia, which has to do with these oros. Shetachta, which are down below. But tzadik moshe kakol Ki Tov, and the tzadik is the one, the sod, that is pulling or streaming everything down that's behind that. Okay, well, this one did record, so let me stop this recording.